As the gentleman from Alaska first, Mr. Young.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I've been in this business. I've started my 38th year. And I love to hear people say we're going to expedite it, we're going to move it, and we're going to get this done. It's been 39 years for the young lady that just gave testimony. So you're really moving fast. You haven't been here 39 years. Both of you gave your testimonies. It looked like the BLM recycled their testimony from the Senate hearing. In all due respects, USDA cut and pasted part of their Senate testimony and making this very, very a difficult solution. It's not a difficult solution. They were entitled to an amount of land under the Act, Mr. Chairman. And if I thought for a moment that I had the opposition from both of these departments, maybe we ought to just introduce the bill that there would be no lawsuits, period, from land selected within the borders. The problem we have here, Mr. Chairman, is if they were to do that, this is supposedly the land we were trying to protect under the Alaska National Lands Act, there'd be another lawsuit. We'd be here another 30 years, and I doubt I can last that long. I'm going to try, but I doubt it. But Ms. Burke, your written testimony suggests that H.R. 2099 would put Sealaska in front of the line ahead of other Native corporations for the conveyance of Alaska lands. Have you or anyone else at BLM actually talked to any regional corporations about whether they would be okay with Sealaska going first?
I am not aware of any conversations with other corporations.
So you took this upon yourself or the department to say that they would object to it?
I believe what the statement says is that placing a deadline for the conveyances to Sealaska necessarily would place that work ahead of the other work that the department is currently engaged in.
No, you said the regional corporations you'd be put ahead of the line.
Correct.
That's right. What you said. Are you aware that there's a resolution signed by the Alaska Regional Corporation presidents and the CEOs that fully supports this legislation?
I have not reviewed that material. I was told yesterday by representatives of Sealaska that such a resolution does exist.
And you're testifying before this committee and you had no knowledge of that?
Not until yesterday, and I have not reviewed the document.
When were you notified that you were going to testify before the committee?
I'm not aware of what that date was. It was perhaps a month ago.
Well, and again, you report to this committee that you've been unable to resolve BLM's concerns about this bill. Yet I understand that you had virtually no dialogue with the Sealaska representative since the last hearing on this bill 5 months ago. Is that correct?
I did meet with Sealaska representatives after the Senate version of this bill.
That was 5 months ago?
And I met with Sealaska yesterday.
That's one day before the hearing.
That is correct.
Sealaska representative taking the time to travel to BLM offices in Anchorage twice, and they've been told that the BLM position this is being driven from Washington, D.C. Is that correct?
This is the position of the BLM as a whole and the Department of the Interior as a whole. In
Washington, D.C.?
The BLM as a whole and the Department as a whole.
I'd like to see the whole BLM at one time, Mr. Chairman. It is your agency's responsibility to help craft a solution that it would solve the problem of Sealaska on behalf of the 20,000 Alaska Native shareholders, and I don't see any solutions offered by you.
We take very seriously our obligation to.
Well, what are the solutions? Seriously doesn't cut it, Mr. Chairman. What are the solutions? 39 years now. How long have you worked for the agency?
Approximately 6 months.
Oh, boy. Again, you suggest in your written testimony that H.R. 2099 would create an undesirable precedent by allowing Sealaska to select from an alternative land pool. Even if that was true, so what? This Congress has a right to redress problems that Congress created where there's a good solution, an argument for doing it. More importantly, BLM's concerns are unfounded. Sealaska was the only corporation limited as it was to the ANSCA withdrawal boxes. There's no precedent problem. This bill attempts to put Sealaska on equal footing with other Native corporations, which they do support this solution. Why doesn't the BLM support it?
I'm not sure.
Why don't you support this bill, other than what you get a lot of precedent, setting the precedent in front of the line, selecting lands outside the borders, and yet you say you want to solve the problem, but I don't see any solutions from your proposal.
The reasons that the BLM and the Department of the Interior have given, I think, are fairly represented in the written testimony. We are committed, however, to working with Sealaska on these issues. We are concerned about the particular provisions in this bill which are identical to the provisions that we testified on previously.
In the Senate, Mr. Chairman, all due respects, 39 years. I think we've had how many presidents now in 39 years? 7 presidents? I think it's 7, 8 presidents. This is 8th president. 8 Secretary of Interiors, and they haven't changed iota, so it's not partisan. They don't really want to solve this problem. That's the unfortunate thing. Mr. Chair, my time is up, I believe, but I will go another second round when we get going.
I'm seeing him out.